let me tell you a little story about how I died a little bit inside this morning. It's Monday. Today we're actually here pouring some concrete, and we are continuing to make progress on other projects. So yeah, let's dive into it. So this is the project we excavated last week. We started with the concrete, we had it formed up, and we had to do a little bit of work this morning. Let me tell you a little story about how I died a little bit inside this morning. I was taking the kids to daycare and my stomach was turning. I usually don't have stomach pains from anything, but man, it was turning. I was trying to make it to daycare, make sure the kids, you know, I didn't have to leave them in the car, but I couldn't make it. Ended up pulling over on the side of a busy road, grabbed 4 of these brown napkins that had the consistency of construction paper, and you know, I had to do what I did on in the woods nearby. I had to leave the kids in the car and everything. It was rough, but I'm feeling much better now. So I wasn't wearing my boots here. I didn't realize we were pouring concrete today. I don't do a lot of the day-to-day management, but I wanted to be able to help some, and so I just kind of hopped on the little come along. This concrete was delivered really wet. It was about, I don't know, probably 40 degrees outside, so it's pretty chilly. This area is pretty shaded too. So it really took quite a while for this concrete to set up. And the quarters were pretty tight as well, having the deck built all the way around it. So basically what we're building this for is the client ordered a swim spot. So he wanted to be able to set his swim spot into here, and then he's gonna, you know, finish the deck around that. You can see how just wet the concrete is. It's been on the ground for quite a while now. We got the fan, we went to the shop, grabbed the fan, and then we also grabbed a heater to cure a bit quicker. And then we get the brush finish. This is probably 2 to 3 hours after we had actually poured it. We're finally able to broom finish it. This is the Boulder project that we spoke about, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We finally found some sources of boulders, and we just got a ton of them delivered, as you can see behind Thomas. He is currently ripping up this old seawall. The problem that it's facing is that all the sand is washing underneath the seawall, because you might be able to see how shallow this wall is. I mean, they only drove the boards that are driven into the ground are only like 2 feet long at the most. So we are going to be replacing, you can kind of see the tongue groove there. It's really short stuff. So bringing in the boulders to replace this wall. We're going to excavate this. Alright, so today I am actually visiting another company in Virginia, and I just checked into our hotel. Pretty simple pad. But basically what I'm doing is I am trying to learn about Christmas lighting. We haven't done it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just meet with them. They're going to show me the ropes, pun intended, and then probably going to install them on our shop and our house, and might reach out to a couple clients, see if they want to, you know, let us experiment with their house and something like that. But yeah, so checking in today, and I'll be working probably in the field with them tomorrow and heading back home. It's like a 3-hour drive or so it really wasn't that bad. So this is really nice. I was able to pack up in like 10 minutes compared to like when I go flying out. I got to pack for a couple nights, etc., passport, all that mess. So yeah, pretty excited to see what we got in store. All right, it's Wednesday, and I am here working with another company today. It is cold. We are about to put lights on this house right here. Beautiful house. And yeah, get my learning on, so let's get the day started. It was a really nice experience visiting Roanoke Landscaping. I'm very thankful they were gracious enough to let me come and visit. Learn a little bit. I learned quite a bit. I learned how simple lighting really is, and learned kind of what kind of lights to use and what's commercially available, etc. So once I got home, I ordered a bunch of lights immediately, and yeah. So we're back over at Thomas's project. He's starting to set these boulders into the trench that he excavated. Basically, our goal is to get the front of them as flat and about the same height as possible. That way, when we set the second level of boulders on there, it's a little easier to work with. We just started offering boulder walls this year, and so we're learning a little bit as we go. But what we do is we're going to be setting these, I don't know, they're about buried halfway in this area, and then we're going to be putting a little bit of gabion stone in the front of them, and this helps break up the wave action as it crashes into the boulders. These boulders probably weigh around 800 to 1,000 pounds each. So Thomas found a boulder that he really wants to use in the middle of this pile. It's a pretty big boulder. It's pretty much at this machine's capacity. So he's trying to get the other ones from around it and then be able to grab it, kind of drag it towards him. The further away it is, the heavier it is on the machine because we're reaching out further. So he's trying to get a little bit closer and then get it into position. This thing is like a big claw machine that you used to see at the old movie stores. I remember when me and my dad would go rent movies, I'd try to always play the claw machine. I remember one time I won it because a thread from the teddy bear or whatever it was got hung on the hook. So it actually grabbed it, and then when it opened, it was still stuck on the hook. So we were shaking the hell out of the machine to get the dang teddy bear, and we did get it. All right, so we are over here at this large riprap project. Guys got it graded out, got it all done. Tomorrow we have a company coming in and lay sod. Really loving how this turned out. And then we also put these steps in here. So originally when we came in, the concrete just stopped there, and they set some center blocks to get down to here. I guess, I don't know if they couldn't pour it or what, but anyways, yeah. So we put in a seawall under here, which we should be able to see. Can't see it. It's behind that board, but there is a seawall back there. It is Wednesday, and we are at the riprap project. They've brought the sod, so I'm here to kind of check and get my day started. It was pretty underwhelming seeing how empty that trailer was, but that was around 8,000 square feet of sod on that trailer. Unless they unloaded a couple pallets already, which I don't know if they did or not by the time I got there. So we actually disassembled the dock here to get these boulders underneath, and then also so we could track across this area where the boards are, because there's that natural stone walkway further up and it goes to the house, and we didn't want to drive over that. So the only alternative was to drive all the way around the house, which was a really long trip. So we found it easier just to disassemble the dock, put some plywood down, and just have access to the full beach right here. And then we'll rebuild it when we're done. Now what we're doing is we have a non-woven geotextile fabric behind these boulders, and we kind of tuck them in between the cracks. That way there's no excess weight against them. And then we're backfilling with clean 57 stone, and then we use that same stone to help set the next layer of boulders. So Nate is the ground guy. He is keeping an eye out, making sure the boulders are set down far enough, and then also throwing some 57 and under them when they need to be raised in the back. These boulders are a bit darker than the ones that we were originally getting, but they have like these bright white quartz veins, so they look pretty cool. They almost look like charcoal with some quartz in it. Really neat looking rock. This is like that one he's setting right now. Looks like a white surface. I don't know if that's a reflection or if it's just the quartz is showing like that. I would say that's probably the quartz. This is the second layer is a little bit more challenging because you're trying to find all these boulders that have the same thickness, roughly. Because that first level is nearly the same elevation. You can see the excavators at the capacity with these boulders. That boulder on the end is my favorite. So we're doing this side of the dock and we're doing another, I don't know, 100 feet on the other side.
It's the second day out here for this vinyl wall we're installing. So we demoed everything yesterday. There was an old vinyl wall here that was on the boat dock. And then this way it was just riprap. You can see we got everything piled up on the side now after shaping it all up.
So what we're doing here is we're driving some 4x4s just into the bed. All these is just to hold the framing board that we are going to use to put the vinyl against. So these are just guides for us. They're not permanent. They're going to get pulled out after the vinyl gets driven, so it's nothing permanent. So this is the front beam board, and what we're doing is we're nailing it to these boards, which doesn't really matter because once this board is going to stay on the vinyl wall, but we're actually going to have another 2x6 on the outside, so all the nails will be covered up. Back over at Thomas's project, setting boulders. Now we're on the right side of the dock. It's a pretty tedious process setting these, trying to get them so they're the same elevation. Obviously it gets harder and harder the less options you have to choose from. And we're loading out the debris from this old seawall. I would imagine this seawall is probably 15 years old, maybe 20, could be more, could be less, I'm just not sure, but fabric that was behind the seawall. So this is another project we're starting. We already, obviously as you can see, we already did the mulch here. The dyed black. This is a brand new construction home. Lots of stonework. We did not do that, but lots of stonework here. And then when we get over here, we're actually getting into a patio that we're building along with a fireplace. So that'll be pretty cool. Got some downspouts, gonna get ran underneath all of it. So when we do hardscaping, if there's any downspouts on the inside of our project, we will just, it's automatically, we're gonna get those on the outside of our project. So we're gonna bury them under patios or whatever. We don't want that stuff to get pulled up or held up behind the pavers or anything like that. So we trench those out. And then we start excavation. For pavers, we usually excavate 8 inches down. We use open brick base with geotextile fabric and 57, and we use a 3/8 chip stone. And then we're back over at Thomas's project. So he's tucking the non-woven fabric in between the stones. And then we're going to be backfilling with more clean 57 stone. So the clean 57 allows the water to drain through this wall. So this wall actually kind of breathes water. And then we're going to be setting the second layer. So by this point it is Friday and there is rain in the forecast. So we're just trying to get as much as we can done before that rain comes. Well, as you can see, it is raining now. The rocks are wet. So what Nate's doing here is he's digging this section out in front of the wall, and we're going to be putting in a gabion stone here. This will help protect the wall from undermining when the waves crash into it. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next week.